Welcome to a Best of Missouri Hands visiting artist interview of Maggie Lowe, Names of Grace. I'm Nina Schatzkamer Miller, coordinator of the Visiting Artist Program. Maggie is a juried mixed media 2D artist. Juried artists are artisans who have developed their craft beyond mere competence of technique to a high standard of quality. Part of the Best of Missouri Hands mission is education. We ask juried members to participate in educational endeavors such as our Visiting Artist programs. This program sends juried artists into schools for classroom presentations. When in-person visits aren't feasible, teachers can arrange for Zoom presentations. Artists show samples of their work and talk about their process. Sometimes they bring a project for students to complete. Our interview today is similar to what an artist might discuss in the classroom, but in more detail. To learn more about visiting artists, please visit our website, bestofmissourihands.org. Tell me about your art. What process, materials, techniques do you use to create it?
I started out my art with horses, and those are all acrylic or oils. But later I got into pencil and colored pencils and ink, so fine ink drawings and things like that, so yeah.
Can you show some samples? Tell us what the pieces are that you brought. Describe.
Okay. Well, this one is an acrylic painting of a horse that I rode when I was a teenager. She threw me off once. So this one is like an example of white ink on a dark surface with highlights and shadowing in black and with a little touches of green for the time of year and the season it is. This is an acrylic and colored pencil, Prismacolor pencil basically. So, and that is a pastel. So, and this one, Love, is one of my full color words that I've created. I have a lot of meaningful words that I've created, so.
And the horse on top there?
The horse on top is a pencil drawing, and this one is acrylic.
And the other horse?
This one down here, that one's in oils. That was a while back.
Can you show us a skill that you use?
Yes, so I really like working in reverse, so I like working on black paper, and really, this is Posco markers. I highly recommend these. They're awesome. They're really good for point. It stays, it's really good. So I will just, sometimes I just don't even know what to do. So I will just, start with one line, okay? So, and with that, then I can, just start moving through it and pulling things out that, like feathery. I need to pump that a little bit. Yeah, I think that's better. So just to be able to make some swirls and stuff. And then when you start filling them out a little bit, you can just kind of go everywhere. And I love doing this because it's calming and relaxing, and things just kind of start working together. And I do that with the black ink on white paper too. So. And I don't know what the rest of this will look like, but it will grow and change and morph, and it'll be really cool. If I kind of block over here a bit. So I just basically start out with one line, and then when that kind of starts looking like something I want to pursue, then I just kind of go off in any other direction. So this is one of the, this started out as a line, just like the one I just drew. And it's an R. It's a little close, maybe you might not be able to tell. But it just started out was one little line. And I love putting leaf patterns in and checkers. I do checks a lot with all these.
Can you lie it down flat for a second?
Oh, yes. Does that work?
Now we can see the whole thing.
Okay.
That's neat.
Yeah. So, but it's fun to do, and it's not something you don't have a plan going into it. So, there's no pressure. You can do whatever you want, So, I'll finish this off at some point, and it's going to be something similar to that, or this may be a little close for this, but this black is on white is like, it just started out with this little line that came right here. I just put a line right there, and this is what happened out of it. So I never know what they're going to look like, and there's no actual plan. But I do love nature and putting things. So I have little things in here. There's little bunny rabbits through here. My family, my daughter and my grandson and I, we always do the I love you sign language for I love you sign. And so that's always in there. I have scales. I have just all kinds of little things and creatures, and there's little bugs on the pumpkin and stuff, like little flies. And it just started with a line and no intention. So it doesn't take much to just start something, because after you do, you have this really cool thing.
I'm going to
it's a
show
lot of fun.
your supplies over here too.
Oh, yeah, this is fun. Look at this mess. But these are all my Prismacolor pencils, and I keep them separated by warm colors and cool colors, and I do that with my markers too. So these are all the warm ones, and then I have cooler colors right in here. So anyway, but there's all kinds of things in here. So a lot of white pens, and go through a lot of white pens, and it's they're a lot of fun. But it's been a collection over a lot of years. So.
Can you tell us how you acquire the materials and the form they come in?
I usually get my art from local art stores, and I do get some things online, but
Paper, the canvas,
okay, sorry.
the paints, the pencils.
Okay, yes, I use, for all my words and letters and stuff, that's all done on Bristol board, and it's a good, stiff, highly calendared surface, and works great with tiny pinpoints. I use a 0.35 pinpoint when I'm doing a lot of my black and white stuff and my sketches and words and stuff. So
Is that the size of the pen?
the size of the point of the pen.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's like a needle almost. So I try to use ones that are waterproof, and when I buy those, I always check them out to make sure that they really are waterproof. So and work right. So
That would be important. How do you go from an idea to choosing the materials to creating and finishing the work?
Well, I usually start out with either a canvas in front of me or a piece of blank paper in front of me, and just I kind of go about it in reverse, I think. So I kind of get the idea what I want to try to draw, and then I figure out, if it's a human face, pastels are really good for that. But if it's, a word or a design of some kind that's just not really, you'll see some of those later. Some of my art that is line art, but it isn't really a thing, So
Do you know what you're going to draw or paint when you sit down to do it?
Not really. I mean, sometimes I'll get an idea and it'll just kind of come to me like, oh, I should do a dog, So, but I usually don't, it's usually not something that's already going on in my head. So it kind of.
When you do a word of grace, like the word love, how do you decide all of the different designs that are within that word?
That's another thing that kind of happens on the fly. I mean, I start out with the shape of the letters that I want to use. So I start out with a permanent ink marker that has the shape of the letters. And after that, it's just, I generally will do a little bit of line work inside each shape of each letter, a little bit to like define an area or something, and then I can do two different things with it. Or, you know, sometimes I put personalized things that for people I know. When Names of Grace is basically art for a person who's going through a life event, or, you know, a celebration or a loss or something like that. So I have a couple of examples that I'll show later, but it's personal to them. You know, you take their name and you put everything they love in it. This is Helene, okay? So she is my director, my Bach Society is director, Dennis Barker. This is his wife's name. She recently passed away. So I did this for him as a gift from the chorus. And she had flowers all over the house. She grew flowers. She was like a flower whisperer. She was amazing. And the clock signified the 3 o'clock hour when they would always stop and have a glass of wine. And this is about her son and a trip that they took when he was in his 20s. And this is her favorite restaurant at the Niagara. You know, they always go to Niagara Falls. But this is all about her and their life together. And it brings tears to people's eyes when I give them this kind of thing. So, and that's the juice in it for me, because they resonate with it, and they have a memory with all these visual elements in it forever. It's very cool. Paint something with acrylics, or a scene of some kind. I like ocean scenes with a sun and all this stuff on it, so I love those colors. But I usually will start out with a canvas and then decide where it's going to go as I move through the project. So,
do you have a photograph in front of you?
Not usually, but sometimes. I did do one from a photograph that was a request. And it was a marshy front, and then ocean as far as you could see, and the sun was coming down, and the line of the sunlight coming through and hitting the marsh grass. And
because you do really custom work, right? Like with
I do a lot of
portraits.
Custom work.
So I would assume
yes.
that you don't have the pet as a live model. You
right. I do use photos on those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I usually try to get people to take a variety of different shots and tell me a little bit about their personality, because if you can kind of internalize how the dog is, you can do a much more realistic portrait, I think, anyway. It works for me, so.
Yeah.
So.
How has education helped your art career?
I have found that I have come from a background where I've been encouraged to do art all my life, you know. So my parents got me art lessons when I was little, and always had pad and paper for me to experiment on. So, you know, so I had a lot of fun, you know.
Formal art education?
No.
Classes?
No. Well, I wouldn't call them formal, just, you know, conversations with people and, you know, demonstrations and, you know, showing each other how we do stuff.
So it sounds like you're more of a self-taught artist.
Pretty much, yeah.
So how do you continue to develop your skills?
I watch now, I didn't used to do this, but recently I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos that have just opened my eyes to a lot of different avenues to do things and ways to treat backgrounds, and, you know, and pastel art is something that I would love to get into more, but it does tend to elude me for some reason. I'm not as good at that as I wish I was. So I've only done a couple of pastels, and I have that one horse step that I did that turned out okay. So, but yeah,
definitely. Do you ever try to convey a message through your art? I'm thinking maybe with the words, or.
Very much so, especially with the words. And my company name is Names of Grace, and that is literally taking a person's name and commemorating that person with the things that they loved. it touches someone's heart when you give it to them and they see, oh geez, I did a 50th wedding anniversary for a family that was all on a green background, all drawn in white ink. The whole thing was drawn in white ink. And they had 75 children's names of the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And those were in the rim of the frame, not the frame, but the edge of the thing all the way around. And that was very tedious, but I did it. Any newcomer kids are not going to be in there, though, so I'm doing that again.
How did you come to use these the paints and the pen, instead of maybe some other kind of art? What attracted you?
I like paper.
Oh.
I buy tablets of paper if they feel good. I have like a lot of paper. So I mean, that was like, I just like to put things down on paper. I love to draw, and just for fun, and I make goofy little signs for my grandson, and and he loves them, and I just am always got a pen and paper and going on something. So
how has your art changed over the years?
Oh, dramatically. I, as a teenager, like right out of high school, I had an art show in a gallery in Sedalia, Missouri. That's my hometown. And I had a bunch of my art in there, and I did real well, but it was all scenics. It was all scenery, like mountain hillsides, good skies. I really loved painting skies. But that was all that I had. And then later on, I started painting horses, because those are part of my history. I was raised on an Arabian horse farm, and I was in love with the horses. And so all of these are from the farm, from when I was.
So these are all horses you knew?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How do you stay interested and motivated to create art?
I go through phases where I just do something else, like rehab my house and stuff like that. I do some rehabbing. But once I'm done with that, I always wind up going back to my art. So I've rehabbed my kitchen and my bathroom, and my second bath was a smaller rehab. But when those things happen, I don't have any art going at all. So, it's all planning. Well, I draw the new plan that I'm doing. So I do a lot of drawings of the plan that I'm trying to come up with, what my bedroom's going to look like, or what the bathroom's going to look like. So I do a lot of that. So.
How do you show and sell your work?
I have my art on Best of Missouri Hands. I have my art in the Artisans Collective, STL. .com. And I also do a lot of word of mouth, and I have a Facebook account and an Instagram account with.
So social media, online gallery.
Yeah.
And probably soon a website.
Yes.
Too.
Get a website. I also have there's a gallery in Springfield, Illinois, that I have a lot of my work in.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's a really active gallery, and I do get my work sold.
What's that one called?
It's called Art for You.
So people who collect your art, what are they saying about it when they get something from you? How have people responded?
It is. It's kind of the juice of, doing the work and putting on the hours, and when they come in and they say, oh, that's wonderful, I think I haven't ever had anybody say, so that's good. But the encouragement and, and the word of mouth that they spread, that's always a good thing too, so there are families that I have that I've done their son's wedding, their daughter's wedding, made a grace name for their wedding. and that was like their wedding gift. So I've done a lot of that. I've also had people who have lost loved ones and wanted to remember them, and so they've given me all kinds of their favorite things about the person who's gone, and I do a painting with their name in it, and then all these things that they loved inside of it, so, and around.
So it's a nice memorial for the family.
Yes, those are memorials, and yeah, so I love doing those. So.
How would you define success as an artist?
I think that's kind of an internal thing. I believe that when you're doing something and you are satisfied with it, and you wouldn't change a thing, there's a level of, that's a success for you, you know. When someone buys it, that's another level of success. so it's always nice to have your work noticed and sold, so yeah.
What's the best part of being an artist?
Freedom. I love doing this, you know. There's nothing that I can't do if I choose to do it. You know, if I want to learn how to do sculpting, I would do that. Not interested in that right now, but you know, but there's so much art. There's so much art to make. You know, it's just a never-ending.
Have you chosen to make art a career?
Oh yeah, I'm all in.
How have you been able to do that?
Well, I started my work life as a graphic designer. So I've been a graphic designer all my life, and you know, so there's an art element to that, but it's nothing like the freedom to be able to paint what's inside of you and do what you really want to do. So yeah, so that. What
one piece of advice do you have for aspiring artists?
Oh gosh, yeah, kids who draw. Kids who think about drawing, they should keep doing that. If it is some kind of a release, you know, the world is hard, life is hard, it's hard growing up. And from my own experience, I realized that art is the thing that I kind of got myself through a lot of things. It's a way to vent, and it's a way to cope with the craziness. And so my message is, if you're an artist, keep doing what you're doing, because it'll save your life one day, I think. So,
how has Best of Missouri Hands helped you as an artist?
Oh my gosh, what I can't even begin. They are the most, what a wonderful organization. They just take you by the hand and they help you do everything that you have to do to become an artist. So I wasn't selling anything before I started with them, so I'm just really grateful to the organization for all the help and the information they put through, and the meetings and the jury information, and wonderful. Every person that I met in Best Missouri Hands is awesome.
When you're not creating art, what other things do you like to do?
Well, I am a singer as well. So I sing in the Bach Society of St. Louis, and it is an 80-year-old choir, and has gotten many accolades over the years. And so I've been singing with them for 34 years, and January starts 35. So if I can, as long as I'm sticking the auditions, I'm going to keep coming back, because I do love it. I love it.
What else do you like to do?
Well, I have this grandson. He's kind of got me right by the heart. Yeah, his name is Declan, and he is an aspiring artist himself. I think he definitely has a gene. He's got.
How old is he?
He is 6 years old and cute. Oh, he's very, very cute.
And how does he show his artistic bent?
Well, I keep him, well stocked with sketchbooks, and he just draws these scenarios. They're like little stories that he makes up in his head, and he draws all the players, and all the action that happens. He just draws everything into the art, and it's really fun to have him tell you what everything is. Sometimes it's hard to tell. He's 6, right? But he has got. Everybody has a personality, and you can see it in his art. He's got something there, so I think he's going to do something with his art. So